I'm surprised it doesn't say like Jason wrong, like Jayson or something.
Yeah, I love how it has Uber Jason, but it just says Friday the
I
13th.
know. I
Like they
know.
couldn't even put X underneath Jason on the bottom.
They weren't even allowed to use the Friday the 13th moniker for this movie.
Really?
No.
I did not know they weren't allowed to use it.
No. For 9, 10, and 11.
I know they all have
So,
different names, but
Goes to Hell, X, and Freddy versus Jason. They didn't have the rights to use Friday the 13th. It was a different
wow.
studio. So they had to just call it Jason.
Well, shitty movies, shitty studios, shitty name. I don't know what to tell you.
Yes. Hey, everyone, and
Sup?
welcome to Why You Still Here, the show that we talk about whatever we want. And today, Lucas, why are we still here?
Well, yep, there you go. Top 10 worst movies of the year.
You suck.
Yes.
Prefaced as always with this is our list. If you don't like it, just tell us in the comments how fucking stupid we are. And then that's all you got to do. Okay. Sometimes when you make these lists, you have to hit 10, right? You can't put a top seven list of the worst movies of the year. Okay. You got to balance it out. And sometimes you just have to add movies that were okay, but not that great. And then sometimes you get to the bottom of the list and it's like, okay, that's really fucking bad. So you know what, everybody? Tell us how stupid we are. But more importantly, tell us your list with honorable mentions if you'd like to.
That being said, all of mine are trash, and I don't defend any of them.
Let's get into it.
All right, so we're gonna start off with our dishonorable
Yes.
mention. I think Lucas has a few of them, so I have one. Proceed.
Okay, so we're gonna start off with dishonorable mentions. They didn't make the cut because the movies aren't horrible, but goddamn, were these movies boring. Okay, and we're going with Haunted Mansion for its waste of
Mm.
talent,
Mm.
and Gran Turismo for just that one scene in my solo video, the first ever solo video, monumentally bad. When I edit that sad music of me talking and then compile it with a trailer, that just made me think, you know what? I'm so sick of underdog stories and this whatever. Run of the mill, not that great. Brandon, what's your dishonorable mention?
So I do feel a little scared to say it because, again, it's my opinion. A lot of people loved this movie. I feel like
That's
I'm a
why I
bit
was kind of like
off.
saying those things I was saying at the
Um,
beginning because people are very weird with these top lists and get very
yeah,
defensive. Let's hear it.
yeah, we'll cross the bridge a little later on when I we get into like my bottom ones. That's really gonna throw people for a loop. Not you, but
Cool.
people watching. Wonka. It.
Really?
Oh yeah, I despise it. You know
Yeah,
that.
I know that, but I figured it would have made it into your list.
Oh no, I couldn't. It was for a long time. It was, and then I watched a couple more things, that I knew were terrible, and it's just, I couldn't in like any good conscience. I think that's a saying. Actually put it on my list because it is like it's like a competently made movie that people tried
Well,
on. So
that's an issue that I've come up with this list because you're probably going to really hate this list then if that's the case. And then the general population is going to fucking I'm going to like before the video before I'm even done editing the video, there's going to be like a fucking pitchfork mob already outside of the house
you'll be
because what
doxxed. Like
but
while we're
because
recording, it won't even make sense.
yeah, exactly, but it will happen because this is going to be so egregious.
Yeah.
I'm scared now. Oh God.
You know those videos of people getting swatted, and it's always kind
Yeah,
of funny as long as they don't die, because they do die
sure.
sometimes.
Yes.
And with me, you couldn't tell, but with you, you could see SWAT team like coming up behind you.
So, yeah,
It'd be funny.
all because of this list. Oh,
Yes.
good Lord. Because I put some competently made movies pretty low because this is like, you know what? We'll fucking get to that bridge when we cross to it. You already said
Yes.
it. Okay. So,
Uh,
so we're on to
timeout.
number 10.
You might want to fix the thing behind you. I think that might have
Oh,
been looking
Lord.
like that the entire time. Very good. All right. So let's get into it.
Okay.
Number
So
10.
starting off with number 10, and I saw the unrated version on Amazon, slightly better, but still this movie really bothers me because there was another movie that did it way fucking better that also started off with a commercial brand. And of course, I'm talking about Mithrigan is my 10th worst movie of the year.
Yeah,
I'm glad that people liked it. That's cool, but
sure.
I'm just bitter about it. I think this list is bitterness. You know what? That's what we're calling. I'm calling this Lucas's top bitter movies of the year.
That's how
That's the
some of mine
list.
are too. Like there's some movies that may be like well made. That's not that's not the bulk of my list, but there might be a
Yes.
couple. And my disappointment was so high with them that it got them right there on the list and towards the top of it as well. So, you know.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, so Megan is your number 10. My number 10, this is a special moment because traditionally I don't like to throw DC movies, or that's probably going to change. Watch out, James Gunn, or Marvel movies onto my bottom lists because I'm like,
Yeah.
you know,
You
I
want to
like
get the support out there.
I just, like they're usually none of them are that bad to deserve to be on a bottom list. Well, that changes with
Let's
Ant
see.
Man Quantumania, or should I say Ant Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
Forgot that movie came out last year
I
with all
hate
the DC stuff we talked about. Wow. Yeah.
it.
Hmm.
What a disappointment of a movie. My God. Because the first one's really good, the second one is good, and this is just a tragedy. Like I could feel it as I was watching it, because sometimes you're in denial and you leave
Yeah.
the theater going, that was okay. Like you turn into Jay Leno. You're like, that was all right. Like that kind of thing. And I could feel it. Like 20 minutes in, I'm like, this movie is not what I expected. And turns out most of the rest of the world agreed. So there you go.
Naturally.
Number
All
nine.
right. Number 9. Uh I had to go with Renfield, Nicolas Cage, Nicholas Holt. Completely underutilized talent, and what a fucking waste of a script too. I mean, you could have done so much with a narcissistic story of Dracula and Renfield, but you did ska jokes. Okay, like that's the one thing I remember. Very good. Very good. So, Jesus Christ.
Correct.
And even now, more so as the year has continued, do I despise this movie more because it would have made an honorable mention had I not gotten balls deep into the Universal monsters.
Mm,
And I'm just upset. I'm just upset. So there you go. That was my number 9, and also Brandon's number 9.
yes, it was crap. Number eight.
Yeah, I just remember just one thing when you said, "Oh, why didn't Lucas do a movie or didn't do a short for this?" Oh, now I know why he didn't. I just remember you saying that at
Yeah.
work one day. I'm like, "Yep, wasn't that good."
Yeah, too bad that wasn't
So
recorded.
yeah,
That was a good, funny statement from me.
yeah, he made it
Uh,
funny. So number 8, I'm gonna go with The Blackening. The movie
Oh,
had
sure.
a occasional like it made me laugh like twice. Well, like a ha, ha, that was kind of funny, but overall it was uninspired trash. And are spoilers like allowed for this list?
I mean, what kind of spoiler?
You know what? It's a massive spoiler. All I'm gonna say is that there's a scream reveal of two killers, and holy shit, wow. Brandon, I actually would like you to watch this movie at some point so we could talk about it.
Okay,
It's stupid. It is really stupid, and it made the list.
very good. My number eight is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, which is something that when you watch this, we'll have a video up of our thoughts of the trailer for the second one.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready?
Um,
Yes.
but it was, I went into it knowing it was going to be bad, and it did not disappoint. It did not disappoint, and it would have been higher on the list if I hadn't seen
Had you not
something
seen this
else,
one movie?
which is now my number one. It was the
Usually, so when we
worst.
do these lists, I never know the like we don't know each other's list, but in this case, I know Brandon's number one. It is not on my list because I didn't watch it, and I told him that I hadn't watched it. But I'll watch it at some point. Just like when I watch, I'll do a double feature with Bones and all of that, and I'll let you know what I think.
I'll watch The
Um,
Blackening once you watch Bones and all in this.
fair, very fair trade off.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
Because
fair.
I had to sit through two of the worst movies of my entire life for this show.
And I've gotten off scot free.
I exactly right. And I will not have it. I will not. So yeah, it was exactly what I expected it to be. You know, it like I said, didn't disappoint. So yeah, so that is number eight. Number
All right,
seven.
number seven. So this is where the list takes a turn because this movie should be lower. However, the old man in me is really pissed off at what these other properties have done with their sequels. So while this is really a stupid fucking movie, that is an almost what is probably either 2 hour, probably either 2 hour. It's 2 hours of Dracula's fucking boat ride to
Oh yeah.
England from Transylvania. Okay, you have that scene in the original movie, when he's fucking dead and tied up to the what do they call that? The steering wheel of the boat.
Captain dead, tied to the wheel. Horrible tragedy.
Sure.
Sure, they have that whole scene. It's like 2 minutes, and they make it into a whole movie with some of the worst CGI I've seen of the year. That movie was junk. Again, it should be lower, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
And what was it called?
Oh my god, I just went right into the joke. It's called The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
There we go.
Check my short out.
Yes, Lucas is very sad in it. So my number seven is I guess this is gonna surprise you because you had it not even on your list. You had it as a dishonorable mention. It's the Haunted Mansion.
Wow. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
very surprised. This is a very different list. A lot of the times we will at least hit a few in the same order. This is completely off the charts right now.
Yeah,
This
how
is a wish.
often
This is a wish first, everybody.
it is. It's it's salty Brandon. Remember how I was like I was laid back Brandon a little bit ago?
Yeah,
I had the hat and
you had the
everything.
hat on.
Now
Yeah.
I'm salty. I never use that word. I don't think I ever have in my entire life.
His britches are completely pulled up. He's sitting on the lawn chair yelling at you to get off the lawn when you're like two houses over on the sidewalk. That's him
Got that
now. That
straight.
that that will be me from 6 through 1 because
That's
good
good.
Lord. Okay.
So we did an entire video about this. It wasn't exclusively devoted to this, but we talked about two. We talked about a good movie, we talked about a decent movie, and then we talked about this. And
Yes.
it was the go check it out. Oppenheimer, Barbie, and Haunted Mansion.
Go check it out. You're gonna enjoy us talking about 3 movies in one review. So I think I'm gonna go on to my number 6, Brandon, if, if that's okay.
Yes.
Number 6. So I'm excited to see where this falls on your list, but number 6 for me is Scream 6. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of the next, I would say the next 3 are they're all okay. I can't spoil it, but these 3 I had such trouble placing. They might slightly be interchangeable, but these 3 are like the you just fucked with my childhood, kind of like old man thinking.
Yep.
Oh,
And we have a
it's
video on that.
I'm so old man today that we're on I don't even have the iPad out. That's
Yeah.
how old man I am today. Wow.
It's
All
funny.
right,
I
Brent.
thought you were not only going to bring that up, but also coming on. There's like grease stains on the back of it.
It totally wasn't on the desk that I was eating pizza. Like I had a plate on it. It was just on the desk, and this was right next to it as I was writing the list.
Yeah,
So it's grease stains. We'll go with that.
that's nasty. It's like Lucas's Harry Potter that has ejaculatory fluids on it. I would say
Yeah, that I won't
stains,
lie.
but it's more than that.
I won't lie. That's what that is. I won't even dance around that one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It was an Order of the Phoenix.
Was it? I don't even remember.
I don't know. You should know, but whatever. Um, so number 6, right? That's what we're
Yes.
on. My number 6 is, Mithrigan. I'm
Yeah.
Lucas. Megan. And we did a video on it. And I don't
Yes.
know if we're super disappointed in the video or not, but looking at everything in perspective, the movie sucks. It's okay if you like it, right? Who am I? I have no bearing on your likes and dislikes. I shouldn't. I shouldn't. But yeah, I think it's terrible. And will I see the sequel? Absolutely, I will. But that doesn't mean
Yes,
I'm
we
going to
will.
enjoy it.
Exactly. We're sadomasochists. You know this.
Correct.
So number 5, I thought this was gonna be I thought this was gonna be a little bit lower. The other movie, fuck it. I'm just gonna say it. Exorcist Believers smack dab in the middle.
Interesting. Yes.
We have a
Very
whole thing about
interesting.
this. I've complained about it. I would say, like I said, these last 7 movies, I pretty much hate them all for their own reasons, to varying degrees. But these other movies were a little more egregious. Yes, Brandon, we have a whole segment talking about Snapple Rain.
Yes. I happened to grab it. It was there. It was easy to grab. And I'm like, I need something to drink for when I'm parched.
That's what she said.
Look at that. I've got the Black Plague.
Yes, you do. All right, Brandon, number
Indeed.
5.
My number 5 is a little movie called Scream 6.
Very
You know
good.
how when we do that, sometimes the little thumbs up. Oh, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Hey. Let me. Scream 6.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Eh.
Yeah, there's nothing else to say about it. We're not gonna beat we're not gonna beat a dead body that is in Dermot Mulroney's back pocket. You can go watch this. We talked about this movie so much, and you know what? I'm so glad
Yes.
that we could finally just put the nail in the fucking coffin. The movie sucks. Okay, we got our steelbook. No, all right, no. If you like it, that's fine. We don't.
Bad
I would
movie.
grab mine, but I don't feel like grabbing it. Just know that
That's what she said.
even if we hate a movie, we will buy the merchandise and see the sequel and buy the movie. So what does that
Yes.
say?
And even try to talk the employees into selling us 2 more of those little figurines.
We really are horrible people.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no point in even trying to hide it anymore.
I know.
Uh,
And this list is really proving it.
yeah. Obviously, I mean, we have a video on it, and the movie, it's not the worst thing ever, but as a Scream fan, as a die-hard Scream fan, it certainly seems like it is the worst
Yeah.
thing ever, you know? Like, it's well made, competently made, it's well acted. I just hate all
It's
the
just not
choices they made in
Scream.
it.
It
It's
doesn't
not.
feel like Scream, and that's
No.
the problem.
No, it doesn't.
So number 4. This is the last of the franchise that I have to list here that ruined my childhood this year, and that was Wonka. I'm so fucking shocked that I hate this movie more than Scream 6
Yeah.
and Exorcist. And I have the popcorn hat right there. So there's the correlation with shitty movies and popcorn buckets. I
Which
have the
costs
Scream
like
6
30
popcorn
bucks
bucket
or
as well.
something.
Yep. So we have the review where I played the role of Brandon and he just kind of sat back and I mostly just complained and bitched for the entire time. And this is how I know that this was of the franchise stuff that ruined my childhood, my most hated one. When I remembered pretty much every single character's name, plot point, and like what happened throughout the movie, because generally when I see a movie, there's like character names I'll forget or like something that, you know, you got to see it twice to really understand. I understood how much I fucking hated that movie right away. I, no, no, no. It was going to be a little bit more on the list, but these other movies are just actually really shitty movies to me. So,
Yeah.
because that one's again a competently made movie, but it just literally it took a chocolatey shit all over my childhood and was the proverbial cherry on top of the shit sundae, Brandon. My favorite phrase ever. So that's my number 4. That's what I'm going to talk about the most. But no, fuck that movie. If you like it, it's fine. I don't like. Nope.
Scrub, scrub. Anyway, uh, and we did a video on that as well.
There was a
And it
short that was
did
recommended to
very
me.
poorly.
Of course. There's a short that was recommended to me of a couple lip syncing scrub and putting it on like TikTok and YouTube. And I just saw it today, so it was very fitting.
That would make me want to throw up.
Scrub. And you know the guy was like coerced into it by like his girlfriend after they saw the movie, and he has like no inkling that he wants to be in this video. I
She
hate
threatened that
people.
she was going to cut off his balls.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Anyway, Brandon, number 4.
Number 4 for me is a little film. It's the most recent one I've watched, sadly. And it's called The Pet Cemetery Bloodlines. And
We have 2 of this guy in here, huh?
yeah, do you have this on your list?
No, I'm just talking about the author. You have maybe some more.
Oh, you cannot credit Stephen King for this abomination. Um, and eh, it's not even like fun bad. It's just
Okay.
bad, and it makes
Yeah,
me
this one I didn't know that you
sad.
watched. I didn't
Yeah,
even
it was
know the
kept it a
the
secret.
subtitle of the movie either. I knew there was a
Yes.
pet cemetery, but wow.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Lucas,
Was this a streaming only movie?
yes, but not only that, it is a prequel to the 2019 Pet Cemetery
Oh
that did go.
God.
It went to theaters, right? And
Yeah.
this is not something I've talked about a lot. I am a fan of Pet Cemetery. Like, I read the book when I was younger and I loved it. And it's something that has always stuck with me through life, in a really strange way, because it's like, it's like the monkey's paw. Like, do you really want your
Yes.
loved one back that much where you're willing to sacrifice the fact that they're not the same anymore and that they're pure evil, basically, right? That whole concept just creeps me out, right? Just creeps me out. And
Apparently it creeps
a
out my dog because he literally he's been sleeping for hours. He got up just when you mentioned Pet Cemetery. So Duncan, this is one of 2 signs that
yes.
he's telling me that this is his favorite movie of the year because we know he has a propensity to pick some very strange
Well, it
movies
has a dog
sometimes.
in it, so that makes sense. That makes complete sense.
Please, Duncan, don't leave the studio.
Anyway, so what's funny is about this that there's never been like a legit, like adaptation of this book. Like, it's such a good novel, right? So good. It feels like it was made for a good movie, maybe even like a mini series. And I remember I went and watched like the 90 one, like 1990 or 90,
Yeah.
whatever. It was in the 90s, the early 90s that came out. And I turned it off after 20 minutes because I was so disgusted by how much they changed. So I've never finished that movie
Wow.
ever. And it's like a cult classic. Like people love it so much. You have, you know, Fred Gwynn, like sometimes dead is better, like that whole kind of thing. Herman
Yeah.
Munster. They did a sequel to it. Everybody hates the sequel, but they still love that first one. Whatever. I felt like it was a piss poor representation of the book. Then the 2019 one came out, and they changed some things in that. So it's in the original, in the novel, it's all about the little boy Gage dying. Spoiler alert, he gets hit by a semi truck and he dies. And this is after they put their cat into the pet cemetery. So the cat comes back to life. The cat's name is Church. And that doesn't go well. But, the father is so struck by grief that he decides to bury his son in the pet cemetery. And he comes back not quite what he was before,
Yes.
to put it lightly. Evil little child. That's what I'm saying. And in the 2019 one, they decided we're gonna be hip and fancy, and we're gonna make it so it's Ellie that dies instead of Gage. So they swapped it.
Sure.
So evil little girl instead of evil little boy. Ah, scary. Here's the funny thing: the movie's actually not bad, and I actually really kind of enjoyed it. So really, it was pointless for me to say all of this because the new
Yes.
one does not serve well as a prequel to that at all.
That sounds awful. Sounds
Yes,
absolutely awful.
yes, almost as
Wow.
awful as
Our
that
number
story
fours
I
are
just told. But
our
you
number
know,
fours. It both included a story.
yes, I just couldn't help myself. I just kept digging
You
myself
generally
deeper and
can't.
deeper into the pet cemetery, and I kept
Look
hoping
at you
that there
now.
was going to be a way out, and there wasn't. But basically, I just want people to know I'm a big fan of Pet Cemetery.
Which is
Big
why I hated
fan.
Wonka. Take what he said and then add
Yes.
Wonka to it. It's the same fucking thing.
Yes.
Same thing.
I wasn't
Um,
quite as hurt in my soul and my penis like Lucas was,
I
but
was, yes.
yes.
So number number three is going to be
Trays.
the other Exorcist movie of the year, The Pope's Exorcist. Of course, you knew it was going to make the
Hammy.
list. Oh my
Yes.
God, that it again, and I've said it before. I think I said it when we talked about it at some point that the one line, when they're just being gross for the sake of being gross, and the possessed little boy tells Russell Crowe that Russell Crowe will be ashamed when he fucks him and comes in his ass. And I'm just like, I just stop.
You're no fun. I'm working.
The movie was absolute dog shit. There were three exorcism movies this year, possession movies. Evil Dead was the best one. I've said it. It's not even a cool phrase anymore. But no, the Pope's Exorcist was god fucking awful. And the consensus is across the board with that one. So it's probably not that shocking that it's there, but it's just another shitty possession movie for me to be mad at because the genre has very few good ones. It's junk. The movie is absolute junk.
Yes. So bad that Lucas didn't even try to get me to watch it.
No, I don't want. No, you don't have any reason to watch this
Because
movie,
it's not
Ryan. And
funny bad, right? It's
no,
just
there's
bad,
nothing
bad.
entertained. It's just bad.
Yeah. That's like Pet Cemetery Bloodlines. Like I would not try to push that on you
The
because
little
there's no
kid,
point.
throws people around the room, makes objects move. His fucking head turns around. The face looks weird. Has the dark, deep voice. There's satanic. What the? There's not one goddamn thing about this movie that sets it apart from anything. It sucks. Junk. Brandon, number three
Trash.
for you.
Number three for me is Exorcist Believer. And, you know, another possession movie, one that we talked about. And so it's really like beating a dead hooker. I mean, whores at this point to say any more about it because you pretty well have it covered. But it was just such a disappointment. And obviously, most of the world agrees because David Gordon Green is not coming back for the
Yep.
sequel. If there's ever a sequel,
If it even fucking happens
I
after they spent almost
assume,
$500
I
million on
know
this.
that makes me think that there has to be. But do they cut their losses and go, well, we're not going to recoup any of it. So let's just give it back.
Get
Give
out the
it back for
receipt, give it back,
free.
purchase. Yeah,
Yeah.
that it was a bad movie. Not only that, like we won't again beat the hooker, but it was just a cursed movie. Everything from the short to the review to Brandon losing his flash drive. I mean, every
Everything on my computer.
that too. It's it's a cursed movie and it absolutely sucks.
Yeah.
So
Bad movie.
we're getting down to the wire here. My number two, awful movie, god awful. Why it isn't number one is because, like you said when you mentioned the movie, that you went into it knowing it was going to be a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
I still thought it was fucking really bad. Where at Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is my second worst movie of the year.
Nice.
Yeah, that's why I'm so let's see what they do with the next one. Okay. Even knowing what
Eh.
you've told me. Yeah, that's why I just don't care. So
It was
Brandon's
such a
already
quick movie.
yeah,
Very
I'll say that though.
inoffensive.
It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not, 2 hours and 12 minutes like every other movie was this year. So I guess there's that.
Correct.
Um,
This is correct.
yeah, so number two, Winnie the Pooh. Brandon.
Anyway, so my number two, in my mind, I kind of thought like, how long should I keep this going for? Should I get up and walk away, or and then come back? Act like I forgot what we were doing or something.
Uh
It was gonna be a bit, you know, and then I decided that,
you're already a bit.
yes. Anyway, so my number two is, I don't think we did a video on it. If we did, it was a sad, sad video. But you certainly did a short on it, and it's a little film called It's a Wonderful Knife.
I did a whole
And
solo video on that bad boy
that's right, you did. Yes, you did. I
because
forgot about that.
that was a junky movie.
Yeah, ironically, I mean, light spoilers. Something that's funny about that movie is that Lucas was like, I feel the calling. He wasn't this dramatic, but I feel the calling to speak on this film because I noticed some things about it. Some things that were like reminiscent of Scream, but nobody else is talking about this. So I must speak my mind, and I'm like, okay,
They
cool.
were written in a
So,
notebook.
so I was like, all right. And so I saw it with that in mind, and maybe that helped me along or whatever. But I'm like, so, were you were you talking about the whole stairs scene where it's just like Scream 2 with the car where they have to go
Oh, that's
over the body?
100%
And
what
Lucas
I
is
said in
like,
there.
oh, I didn't even notice that. And I'm like, oh, what did you say? And then I watched the video and I was like, oh, okay, well, okay. Huh.
You're like you start removing me from the channel.
It was just funny because it was like that's what stuck out to me the most was that it was like obvious the director really was a big fan of Scream 2, so much so that they did that with it. And it was like that was the one thing that
Well,
Lucas
Brandon,
didn't notice.
you are the biggest fan of Scream 2. So you know what?
I am. I am. If I missed that, then I probably should be put down behind the barn. But
Sure.
yeah, it was also like Halloween 6. Wait, and that is actual stairs in that scene with the killer at the bottom of it, and they have to step over him. So It parallels both of those. But the movie's trash. Even Joel McHale, who is a great actor, is horrible in this movie. Like, what's going on? And I know enough about movies at this point, especially since we've been doing this channel. I've learned even more. If an actor's bad in a movie and you know they're a good actor, you can really only blame the director at that point. So that tells me the director probably didn't really know what they were doing because all the performances throughout this entire movie is terrible. Just like my number one. We'll get there. But it's like, it's not funny bad. Like, it's just bad.
No.
And despite how many times Lucas told me it was bad, I still was like, I mean, it can't be that bad, right? No, it is. It's awful. If this is how far I'm willing to go out on a limb. If you're watching this video and you think I'm crazy and you liked it, we're probably not the channel for you. You might want to go on and find another channel because I just can't wrap my head around it. It's like if The Room wasn't funny, you know?
That's a pretty good comparison.
Yeah. Like just incompetent. And that's all.
Yes.
So it's probably a Tommy Wiseau that made this movie, I can imagine, because it's so bad. It's so pedestrian. It's like a child wrote it. Like just the whole like the Northern Lights, and it hurts my head. Justin Long, like I said, Joel McHale, but Justin Long is a phenomenal actor. Look at Barbarian. I mean, he's in tons of stuff, but most recently, look at Barbarian. He steals the show.
Yes.
He's also quite terrible in this. He's the best of the terrible people,
but he's still
terrible. Yeah. I just
see what had happened was they came up with the idea. They said, "Hey, you know that movie? It's a Wonderful Life. Well, what if we did It's a Wonderful Knife and made it a horror-themed Christmas movie?" Eh? It sounds cool, right? And they're like, we'll see if we can make it work. And that's what happened. And the director who did that movie also directed the number one movie on my list for 2023. It's the same director. It's the same movie. It's a Wonderful Knife.
Oh, that's funny.
That was my segue.
Very
was my
good.
segue. Yes. So yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head here. We've talked about it. I've talked about it. The movie is fucking guttural shit. And we're tolerant and accepting on this channel. All right. Why is everybody in this movie gay?
Yeah, that's so weird. Like, I want to know what the gay community thinks about that, because it's fine. Have representation. That's great.
This movie was worse than They Them.
Right. Like, this has like 6 gay characters in it, and it's like, why?
Like, I think the brother was gay. Like, he was making out with some dude at a party, and then the sister turned gay, and then the aunt was gay, and then there was probably the killer was probably gay. The angel.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. The dad and Justin
gay. Long. There was a lot of gay people.
Oh my God. Jeez. And you know, if it was 2002, I might use a certain insult to describe this movie. If that doesn't get us canceled.
I don't even know.
I was gonna say this movie is so gay.
Oh, that's what I thought, but I'm like, that's not that bad.
Insert Wanda Sykes.
When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Remember those commercials?
Yes.
When you say that's so gay, knock it off.
You know what you're saying. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah.
But yeah,
so anything else?
I really hate this movie. I really don't like it.
It's so bad. It's so bad. You know that something is particularly awful when it's short, but feels long.
Oh, it's a dragger of a fucking movie for
Yes, it
sure.
is. Yes, it
For
is.
sure. And then it
And there's
just
like parts
slaps
that are
you.
depressing about it too. Like
Well, I
it's
mean, I
just
guess that will, Brandon, that's just them channeling the original, okay? Because that's a depressing ass Christmas movie. So it's right in line.
yes. If I
No, the
were
movie's awful. Did it even get a physical release? I haven't
no
heard anybody
idea.
like show it off because I watch like 20,000 channels that do movie pickups. That's how I know what's
Yeah.
coming out. And I haven't seen anybody pick up this movie or enthusiastically look forward to picking up this movie for their horror collection.
I
Good
don't know.
fucking God. I really wanted Winnie the Pooh to be number one because it was so shitty, but God, no, no. Because I at least expected to get something out of Wonderful Knife. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I almost
Um
considered it because I have the AMC's, pass. I almost considered it seeing like going to see it again to make sure I saw what I saw the first time. Like that's how much I hated it. And then I felt like I did not want to waste my time going to see it again. So I did
mm,
not. But no, that movie was junk. Absolutely junk.
terrible. It seems
So,
like there might be like a foreign Blu-ray that you could get of it.
hmm,
I think it was a Shutter exclusive, so they're
yes.
probably holding off on releasing it physically, but I don't know. If I
Well,
did
I
have
will
to
not
say
be showing that off on special features.
yes, if I did have to say one thing about it, the costume design of the angel is pretty good. I like that, especially because it does have. That was the other thing about your video too, where
That
you're
I
like,
don't like that it has a blank face.
no, well that too,
Or we're
but
talking
whatever.
about the hood.
Where
And
you're
it
like,
reminds me of
you're
the
like,
Ghostface costume.
I've heard tell that the costume of Scream 6 might be white in color because it'll be a snowy setting. And I'm like, Lucas, that was something I came up with.
Yeah, so
that
it's
was
gonna happen.
that was my concept for Scream. I think I said 6, but that was my concept for Scream 7.
Yeah, you
Uh
didn't like the joke?
yes. Um yes, anyway. That was it though. Like just that the killer was, not who is beneath the mask, but the actual character of the killer was all right. Now we're on to my number one. So before I reveal it, let me just tell you my number one for the longest time was It's a Wonderful Knife. Like, that's how much I despise this movie until I saw a little film that is entitled Children of the Corn. And
How many Children of the Corn like remakes have there been? There's been like five of them.
I mean, this is the first remake, but this is like the 12th Children of the Corn movie.
God damn. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
That
But
disgusts me.
there's never been a remake prior to this. And really it's just adaptation, I guess, of Stephen King's short story. But um, they change things about it to like make it woke and whatnot. Not really. I mean that they just gender swap things and it doesn't really work as far as I'm concerned. And I don't know if that's just because of the acting or the directing or what, but this is truly one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know if I
And
could
that's
say that
saying
about
something.
many other ones on this list, but I can with this. And I can with Bones and all. Like, what a waste of time. But I would never like take that time back, because I mean, I think it's funny that I went through that pain and torture
Sure.
to see these movies. And then I can spread them amongst the populace and educate people so they avoid them like the plague. But it's just so bad, and you can see the potential there. You really can, and they just fumble the ball time and time and time and time again. And this movie was filmed in 2020, and they were able to get around the stay-at-home orders and stuff because it was an independent production in Australia. So they were able to just completely ignore all that stuff. I think that people have a bit of a bone to pick with this movie because of that. And that could be a little bit of why it did so poorly, on top of the fact that it sucks, obviously. But there's like this little girl who's like the main like villain of the movie, and she is insufferable. Now, if the actress were to somehow come across our video and feel bad about herself, don't do that. I mean, you're a child, so I'm not insulting you, but your character sucks in this movie. I'm sorry, but I hate your character. It's kind of like Leia in the Obi-Wan show, like just insufferable. That's not to say the actress is bad.
Yes.
But the character is bad. So it's no good. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. It's just so bad. And there is this character from the original that's called like He Who Walks Behind the Rose, something like that. And it's like this, almost like this god that the children worship, but you never see him. And he makes like all the decisions for them and all this kind of stuff, like within the corn. And in this movie, they show him. And Cody Leach in his review was like,
your favorite.
Correct. And he's just like, well, they show him, and I don't know who this I am Groot motherfucker is, but that's what he said. And I'm like, come on. Like, there's no way that it actually looks like Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. No, that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like Groot.
That sounds very awful.
It's very awful. Yes.
I don't think I want to watch this movie.
It's terrible, but I'm going to have to make you do that. Yeah, it's there's nothing good to say about it. There really isn't.
I'm gonna have to read the short story before I watch the movie so I can really hate it.
Sure.
Is there anything else you want to say about Children of the Corn?
It ruined my day when I watched it. My day was unable to recover from that.
Wow, I didn't know it affected you that deeply.
It is bad. It's so bad. And it's very short, but not short enough. Now I'm pissed.
Bad.
That's it. I guess that's all I have to say about it.
We're not going to beat any more dead hookers.
Nope. We've done
so that was our
enough.
list. You can tell us about how much we didn't go into detail about the movies in the comment section down below, even though we did.
Yeah.
We have a lot of reviews and shorts for most of these. As we said, go check them out. But just give us 10. Let us know.
Yeah. Let us know what some of your most despised movies of 2023 are. I don't know. Does your list, reflect ours in some way?
I would say most likely not.
Probably not. Do you agree with most of what we said? Do you agree with none of what we said? Comment below. Let us know.
You know what to do.
Yeah. And if you want to give us a piece of your mind, then have at it.
We could use the comment.
Yes, we could. Yes, we could.
Yes, we can.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you in the next video. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.